If the Maine Forestry Service tells you that animals just go crazy from hunger in the winter, just nod and lock your doors. The local cops are still feeding the press stories about starving, rabid bears. They know people will swallow any garbage as long as they don't have to look toward the black pines past the mountain. But animals don't know how to mimic the voices of the people you've buried. And wolves don't have a human, insanely wide smile, which now stands before my eyes every single second. I made a stupid mistake. I went back to Blackwood. And now, it's never gonna end. I was raised by my grandpa Thomas and grandma Martha. My mother had me at 17, left a bundle on the porch of their Aroostook County farmhouse, and vanished. I never looked for her. The old folks pulled me through, gave me a normal childhood. In my 20s, I moved to Boston, landed a good job, bought a house, married Chloe. Right now, she's 7 months pregnant with a little girl. Everything was entirely too perfect. Until that night in January, when my grandpa called me at 3 a.m.
I picked up the phone. On the other end of the line, all I could hear was my grandpa's heavy, wheezing breath. For a split second, I thought I heard someone very quietly, faintly giggling in the background, but my grandpa spoke and I chalked it up to static.
Martha is gone, Elias. Come home. It's going to be a closed casket. Don't linger.
And the line went dead. Because of a blizzard, the highway was closed for 3 days. 4 hours behind the wheel on an iced-over interstate. The GPS died right as I crossed the county line, fading into a solid gray screen. When I was about 2 miles from the farm, the headlights caught a figure standing dead center in the road. I slammed on the brakes. The SUV spun out on the black ice.
It was standing 15 feet from my hood. Too tall to be a human, too unnaturally skinny to be an animal. Its arms, or whatever it had instead of arms, hung past its knees, almost dragging in the dirty snow. It was facing away from me. But then its shoulders stayed perfectly still and its head began to turn. Slowly, with a dry, cracking sound like bones snapping inside. The figure turned its face to the headlights. There was no face, just a solid mass of shifting black fur, but something caught the light inside that fur. 2 white eyes with no pupils. And right then, from my car speakers, cutting straight through the static, came a quiet, gurgling chuckle. I blinked. The headlights flared back to full brightness. There was no one on the road. No footprints, no shadow. Just empty asphalt. I drove to the farm in 10 minutes. My grandpa was sitting in the kitchen, still in his winter coat. An old shotgun was resting on the table. He didn't even look up when I walked in. He just poured bourbon into a glass.
Cops said cougar or a rogue bear. Bullshit. They all know. Bears don't undress people, Elias, and they don't fold their clothes into a neat little pile on the porch. Every single piece, down to the socks. Not a single drop of blood on Martha's clothes. Not a single tear. And what was left of her, the hunters had to collect from the bushes a mile out. She was gutted, boy. Clean, like a slaughterhouse.
I didn't sleep that night. It felt like the walls of the house had gotten thinner. Toward dawn, I went down to the kitchen. My grandpa was standing silently at the stove, frying meat. But when that sickly sweet, heavy smell hit my nostrils, my stomach violently turned. wasn't the smell of pork or beef. My brain instantly fed me a memory that made my blood run cold. It smelled like the scene of a bad car wreck when human flesh burns. I sprinted out to the backyard, gasping for the freezing air. Right under my bedroom window, in the deep, untouched snow, were two narrow, deep black holes. Like someone had stood there all night on long, thin stilts, completely motionless.
There were only me, my grandpa, and a couple of neighbors at the funeral. Everyone was side-eyeing me, but nobody said a word. As I was leaving, Mrs. Clara intercepted me. She lived on the edge of the woods. The old woman grabbed my sleeve so hard the fabric tore. Her eyes were darting everywhere.
Why did you come back? Leave. Blackwood is rotting, Elias. Old Tony the Ranger walked into the thicket himself last month. You know why? He heard his stepson's voice coming from the tree line. The one who died 3 years ago. That thing, it steals voices. It calls us at night from the trees. If you hear Martha, cover your ears. It's not her. It's just picking the locks to your head.
That evening, I told my grandpa about the holes under the window and what Clara had said. I expected him to call her crazy, but he just gripped his glass tighter.
We lied to you about Sarah. Your mother didn't leave for Boston. 30 years ago, she walked to the neighbors for diapers. That evening, someone knocked on this door and called my name in her voice, like Sarah was standing right outside. I walked up to the door, looked through the keyhole. She was standing there, but her head was resting on her shoulder, broken at the neck, and she was smiling, a massive frozen smile, ear to ear. And she kept speaking in her voice, asking me to open up, but her lips weren't moving. I didn't open the door. I locked myself in the basement. They found her in the river a week later. That thing remembers our blood, Elias. It came back for you. Leave at dawn.
The car wouldn't start in the morning. By the time I swapped the fuses and messed with the wiring, the sun was gone. Panic was driving me out of that house. I left at dusk. All around me, just a wall of black forest and an empty highway. And exactly halfway through, right where no radio station reaches, the car just died. The headlights cut out, the SUV coasted until it came to a complete stop. A silence so heavy washed over me that my ears popped. I sat completely frozen for 10 minutes. I was too terrified to even turn my head. And then, in the dark, I felt it against the back of my neck. Right behind my seat, someone very quietly, very slowly, inhaled. Something slammed onto the roof from above so hard the windshield webbed with cracks. From the darkness, that same gurgling chuckle echoed. In that exact moment, an old pickup pulled onto the stretch and braked next to me. The driver, a local kid, rolled his window down just an inch. The smell of tobacco wafted from the cab. He yelled out nervously, "Hey man, everything all right?" I didn't even have time to open my mouth. A massive black mass dropped onto his pickup from above. The kid's side window exploded into dust. The creature didn't roar. In absolute silence, with jagged, unnaturally fast, jerking movements, it dragged the driver out through the narrow gap of the window, literally folding him in half. Panicking, I smashed the hazard lights. The flashing yellow light caught it. A massive, fur-covered body with skinny, broken limbs. It turned its face toward me. It wore a frozen, giant human smile filled with rows of small, sharp teeth. That thing leaned toward my window and said, in that dead kid's exact voice and intonation, man? Everything all right?" Then he giggled, threw the remains over its shoulder, and vanished into the woods. I passed out.
I woke up at dawn. The car started on the first try. I drove to Boston without stopping once. When I got home, I lied to Chloe and told her I hit a deer. That's how I explained the dents and dried blood on the hood. I didn't leave the bedroom for 3 days. On the 4th day, the local news reported an empty pickup found on the highway. The driver was missing, and they found his fiancée a mile from the car, without her head. I immediately dialed my grandpa, but he didn't answer. The voice on the other end was Gary, his neighbor.
Elias, Thomas is dead. Found him a couple hours ago in the kitchen. The front oak door was ripped out, frame and all. The sheriff's writing it up as a bear, but we aren't idiots here. Come down. The lawyer's waiting. We need to close the book on the house.
I went back to Blackwood for just one night to sign the papers. I boarded up every window, locked every door, and took a triple dose of sleeping pills. At 3 a.m., the crunch of snow on the porch woke me up. Heavy footsteps stopped right outside my bedroom door. And then, from the hallway, came Grandpa Thomas's voice.
Elias, let me in. I'm so cold. Open the door, boy.
The voice sounded like it was coming from an empty oil drum. And between the words, there was a strange crunching noise, like someone loudly cracking their knuckles. And then it started giggling. The living room window shattered into splinters. I bolted for the back door. Out on the porch, a massive, clawed hand swiped across my arm, tearing flesh down to the bone. I threw myself into the car and slammed the gas to the floor. In the rearview mirror, in the darkness of the empty house, I just caught a glimpse of that motionless, wide, glowing white smile.
It's been a month. The scar on my arm closed up, turning into an ugly black strip of skin that constantly itches. I thought Boston was far enough away. I thought that thing was tied to the woods of Maine. Last night at 3 a.m., a strange noise from the baby monitor woke me up. A quiet, familiar whisper was coming from the speaker. It was my own whisper. The voice on the monitor was repeating the exact words I had said to Chloe earlier that evening. Panicking, I ran to the nursery, but the room was empty, and my daughter was sleeping peacefully in her crib. I went back to the bedroom, breathing heavy. I got into bed and whispered to my wife. The signal's acting up. I thought I heard my own voice coming from the monitor.
The monitor is picking up interference.
My voice, coming from her mouth, slowly morphed into the wet, gurgling laugh of Grandpa Thomas. Chloe slowly began to turn toward me in the dark. With a loud, dry snap, her neck rotated entirely around its axis, breaking at an unnatural, sharp angle. And on her face, in the pitch black of our bedroom, I saw that smile, stretching ear to ear.
My constant positivity is just a mask to keep from breaking down, to To survive in this expensive city, I deliver food. But I avoid the Hector Cafe like the plague. The staff there look like they've seen the depths of hell and forgot how to blink. Another order to 12 Cosmonaut Street. Crumbling 5-story building with a flicker-prone hallway. When I rang the bell, the door opened with a slow, agonizing groan that sounded like a dying beast.
The woman standing there was a nightmare in the flesh. Withered, skeletal, wearing a blood-red dress that hung off her like rags. Her mouth was a void, missing all its lips, showing jagged, rotting teeth.
No. Paid for the order.
I handed her the bag, my hands shaking like leaves. When she tilted her head, her greasy hair moved, and I saw them. No eyes, just wet, crimson pits staring back at me. I bolted down the stairs, not even feeling the floor beneath my boots. I went back to Hector to see if I was losing my mind, but it was worse than I thought. The chef's hand had morphed into a cloven hoof, and he was hacking at human limbs with a cleaver. Fat, anthropomorphic pigs in human clothes were sitting around, greedily chewing on raw flesh. I raced back to the apartment to finish the delivery. The room was dark. A huge man was snoring in an armchair. He was the spitting image of my abusive father. The memory hit me like a physical blow. I tripped, and the rustle woke him. He turned, and his face was a gigantic, slime-covered pig snout. That roar echoed in my skull like thunder. I practically fell down the stairs, desperate to get away from that sickening, musk-like pig stench. The third time, a little boy opened the door. He gave me the sweetest, most innocent smile. Then his head started turning. A full circle. His neck twisted into a spiral, and his head dropped to my feet with a dull thud. It all clicked. The woman was my dead mother. The pig was my father. The boy was me. They were feeding on my childhood trauma. I threw the door open to face him. My mother lunged at me on all fours. I sprinted. The boy's severed head bit into my calf at the door. I kicked it like a rotten watermelon. Once I hit the street, the nightmares evaporated into the night air. I deleted the app. Never again.
Dylan stepped heavily on the concrete stairs. A college dropout, he was now grinding out miles for a food delivery app. Reaching the 5th floor, he pressed the doorbell. A cheap electronic chime echoed inside, but the response was only silence. After a minute, an annoyed Dylan tugged at the handle. The door unexpectedly gave way. A terrible smell of dampness hit his nose. Deep inside, wheels squeaked.
Come in, boy. You can put the order on the dresser in the hallway.
I'm sorry, sir, but company policy forbids us from entering apartments.
You see, son, I'm disabled. Don't refuse an old man. Take a few steps. Put the food down.
Dylan felt a chill. The wheelchair squeaked closer. His instincts screamed at him to leave. He quickly placed the bag at the threshold, muttered an apology, and hurried down the stairs, forgetting to get a signature.
2 weeks passed. The app
once again assigned him this address as his final delivery. The door was slightly ajar. The old man waited in the corridor, wrapped in a shapeless plaid blanket that concealed his entire body.
It's you again, son. Just help me out. The threshold is awkward. I can't reach it.
Right. Let me put it on the dresser, like you asked last time.
Wait! Take it to the kitchen. Help a sick man. I'll give you a good tip.
Swallowing his fear, Dylan entered the kitchen. The floor was covered in a thick, sticky slime. A strange brew was boiling on the stove. Dylan set the bag down and turned around. The empty wheelchair lay by the threshold. The owner was hanging near the ceiling, gripping the concrete. The blanket had fallen, revealing a terrifying truth. Unnaturally long, pale limbs, blind eyes, and a maw full of sharp fangs. The man was a gigantic, anthropomorphic creature. The creature let out a vibrating screech and lunged. Dylan dodged, but the monster's claws grazed his jacket, throwing him into a pile of dirty pots. In its blind rage, the creature stepped into the boiling pot on the stove and shrieked in agony. Dylan jumped up and ran to the front door. It was locked. The creature was already sprinting across the ceiling behind him. Dylan burst into the next room and locked the flimsy door. His eyes fell on the balcony. About 3 feet to the left was the neighbor's balcony. As the door splintered under the creature's claws, Dylan climbed onto the railing and jumped. He landed hard, crashing into a stranger's apartment. A young couple, Mike and Chloe, stared at him in terror. Mike gripped a clothing iron.
Thank you. You saved my life. Just open the front door and I'll leave.
Mike silently let the courier out into the hallway. Dylan ran down to the street, but realized he left his work bicycle on the 5th floor. With a pounding heart, he sneaked back up. He grabbed the handlebars, but an acrid stench gave away the monster lurking above. Screaming, Dylan hurled the bike at the creature and fled to the attic, where the blind monster got tangled in cables, finally letting the boy escape. A month passed. Dylan wrote the event off as an exhaustion-induced hallucination. On his first day back, his last delivery took him across the city. A sweet old woman, Mrs. Higgins, opened the door and invited him in for tea. Disregarding the rules, he agreed.
The kids all moved away. They never got along with my husband. He went missing. He drank terribly, Dylan. He was a beast, not a man.
Dylan nodded, chewing a chocolate cookie.
Whenever he got drunk, he fought viciously, scratching and tearing, all while howling like a wild animal. Do you know where we used to live? At the Oak Haven Apartments.
The cookie stuck in Dylan's throat. Icy terror paralyzed him. He jumped up and rushed to the front door. The lock was bolted shut. He turned around.
No one has ever escaped twice, Dylan. This time I scrubbed him real good, so you wouldn't smell him from the doorway.
The door to the back bedroom slowly creaked open. From the darkness, letting out a drawn-out wheeze, unnaturally long, pale limbs reached out. The cozy evening was pierced by a terrified scream.
I'm a senior in college, out in Detroit. Lectures by day, running food deliveries by night. The money never covers the bills, and the debts are piling up. When I saw the ad for a night courier offering a 6-figure payout, I figured it was a scam or illegal. I didn't care either way.
Welcome, son. Where are you headed in a storm like this?
About the job. The night courier gig. Second floor, room 207.
Room 207! Excellent choice! Head straight up those stairs, kiddo. Don't keep him waiting!
Hello? I called yesterday about the courier position.
I remember. Sit down. The terms are simple. You work exclusively at night. You deliver specific parcels to designated coordinates. You get paid in cash immediately after every drop. Agreed?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Perfect. My name is Marcus. Your first shift begins tonight. Midnight, sharp. This is your cargo. And your instructions. And this is the company watch. Put it on.
Digital watch? What's the catch?
There is only one rule. Under no circumstances do you take this watch off until you return to this room. If you take it off, you don't get paid. Do you understand?
Got it. No problem.
The GPS completely glitched out. The building at this address didn't exist on any city map. It was a brutalist 5-story concrete block sitting in a wasteland. Inside, the corridors twisted at impossible angles. The delivery manifest only had one word: meat.
Come in.
Evening. Delivery.
There were 3 of them. Massive, bald freaks. The one who opened the door smiled at me. He had 5 rows of teeth in his mouth. Razor sharp, like a great white shark.
They didn't even cook it. They ripped the raw meat apart with their bare hands and devoured it right in front of me. Blood dripping down their chins.
Take it.
I bolted out of there. I got lost in those endless, twisted hallways, and then I saw him.
Another butcher. A human hand fell out of his sack. He looked at me, gave a wet wheeze, and flashed those shark teeth. I ran for the stairs and didn't look back.
The next night felt normal. A standard apartment complex right near downtown. The cargo was a canister of kerosene.
My 17th floor? What the hell? This building only has 9 floors. I stepped into the hall. The footsteps behind the door sounded wrong, stuttering, like someone moving in stop-motion frames. Delivery. She was pretty, except for her eyes. They were glowing, solid yellow, no pupils. She moved like a broken animatronic. A sharp tilt of the head, a jerky thrust of her hand into her jeans pocket. She thrust the cash at me. When she grabbed the canister, I saw her hand. She had 8 fingers. Long, spindly, like spider legs. I snatched the money and backed slowly into the elevator, keeping my eyes locked on her.
Wear this silver chain tonight. The locals won't touch you. And remember the watch. I've updated the cipher.
I walked through a regular apartment ward and stepped into a sprawling hospital ward. Creatures were squatting in the rooms. Pitch black, charred things. They were eating a corpse, tearing off chunks of meat. They smelled me and lunged, but the silver chain stopped them dead in their tracks. Delivery! The paper!
Here, put it here. Don't interrupt. Do you know what those things in the hallway are? What is this place? Get out! Stop distracting me!
I looked over his shoulder. He wasn't writing words. He was just frantically scribbling zigzags across the pages. Deep black
bags hung under his eyes, and his sclera were completely shot with ruptured red veins. A total lunatic, paying stacks of $100 bills for blank printer paper.
Vinny, a local loan shark, gave me 1 week to pay him back or he'd break my legs. He screwed me on the interest. It was time to clear the debt.
So, college boy, where's my money? Or do we start snapping bones right here?
It's up in my apartment. Come on in. I just moved.
What the hell? Is this a hospital? Hey kid, where you going?
I just stepped back. The silver chain burnt hot against my chest. The creatures ripped Vinny and his muscle to shreds in seconds. They didn't even have time to unholster their guns. I fed the locals, and I walked away clean. I came back to clock out. Hank the guard was lying in the lobby with a bullet in his head. He wasn't smiling anymore. I found Marcus in his office. He'd been tortured, flayed open. They were looking for the ciphers to the watch. The same watch I conveniently forgot to hand in yesterday. It was still strapped to my wrist.
They didn't find what they were looking for. I took the cipher ledger from Marcus's hidden safe. I know how the codes work now. In some dimensions, they pay in solid gold for a gallon of kerosene. In others, stacks of cash for blank paper. I'm not a courier anymore. I'm the only supplier. And I have a lot of deliveries to make. It's June 4th. Car's toast. Walked the last 2 miles. No cell service since the overpass. Aunt Ruth's house looks empty. But the lights are on. I'm gonna knock.
Michael, you are wet.
Aunt Ruth? Jesus, you scared me. I didn't mean to drop in like this, but I couldn't get a signal to tell you I was coming.
The air is heavy. You brought the pressure inside with you. Do not track the mud. It ruins the floor.
I'm in the guest room. I haven't slept. She's downstairs. She hasn't said a word in 3 hours. Just sitting there, watching the static.
You are thinking about leaving, Michael. The floorboards feel the weight of your indecision.
I just wanted some water. Ruth, everything okay?
My joints are locked. The humidity, it binds everything. Go back to your room. Do not let the damp get into your seams.
She's in the kitchen. She's holding garden shears. She isn't doing anything. She's just listening.
Rot is such a quiet process, Michael. It happens in the dark. It happens when we don't look. But I can hear it in your pulse.
Why are you doing that?
It was dead. It was just dragging me down. Now it's gone. You should be grateful for the release.
Get away from me! What are you?
You are such a warm thing. You are so full of fluids. I am empty.
911, state your emergency.
I'm on Route 9. My aunt, she's not my aunt. She's in the house, but she's not human. Please just send someone.
Sir, can you tell me your location? Are you in a safe place?
I'm by the mile marker. I'm alone. I'm completely alone.
Sir? I'm losing you. Sir?
Oh, trying to save a buck on shipping? Absolute mistake. I should have just paid for a career. You can't even breathe in here.
Hey, young man, where do you think you're cutting in? Wait your turn like the rest of us.
I'm not cutting, ma'am. The crowd is pushing from behind.
What are you all staring at, you parasites? Look what they tried to pawn off on me.
Whoa, lady, I'm trying to be nice here. I was literally letting you go first.
What are you doing, you sniveling little coward? Are you gonna eat this rot? Or are you telling me to eat it? You tried to poison me!
I don't want any trouble. Just leave me alone.
Are you a man or what? You're nothing. Dirt under a boot. Here, eat this filth before it eats you.
Ugh. Oh, God, what is this?
There. Much better. The mother will be pleased.
Colin, you look absolutely awful. You're pale as a ghost. What happened at the post office?
I don't know, Katie. Some old lady hurled a heavy can of expired food at my chest. But it's not even the bruise. The second it hit me, it felt like someone pulled a plug. My life was sucked right out of me. I can barely stand.
Bro, it sounds like a textbook panic attack. The heat, the claustrophobia, a crazy old lady snapping at you. It happens.
No, Sam, shut up! Colin, the exact same thing happened to me in the transit bus this morning. The bus was completely empty. This old woman in a red parka sat right next to me. She ripped my earbuds out and just started beating me.
Beating you? Why didn't you call the cops?
Because while she was hitting me, it didn't just hurt physically. My energy was physically leaving my body. She was screaming that we are all empty vessels and kept muttering about feeding the matriarch. Colin, they are draining us. They are stealing our life.
The woman at the post office? She said the exact same thing. The mother will be pleased. Okay, look. This sounds like a bad creepypasta. I'm gonna run to the pharmacy across the street, get some water and some aspirin. You both just need to take a breath and calm down.
Go ahead of me, ma'am. I've only got this water, and it looks like those bags are heavy for you.
Are you calling Mem, you arrogant little prick? You want to slap? Think I'm weak, do ya?
Whoa, lady, I'm trying to be nice here. I was literally letting you go first.
I'll strangle you. I'll kill you. Let me buy the fruit for the matriarch, you worthless maggot.
Stop it. What is wrong with you? God, why can't I breathe? Someone help me.
Your youth tastes so wonderfully sweet. Sleep now, boy. Just go to sleep.
The doctor said Sam's kidneys just failed. A microinfarction. He's 23, Katie! 23 years old!
We're next, Colin. They marked us. We have to leave the city. Right now. Get in the elevator.
What the hell? It's stuck. Hey, is anyone out there? Help!
You aren't going anywhere.
Where did she come from? Colin, was she standing behind us the whole time?
Get away from us! Don't you touch her! I'll kill kill you. I swear to God, I'll kill you, you old witch.
I call to that which stands in the deepest depths at the root of the world, whose hands are the choking vines, whose eyes are the smoldering coals.
Colin! My head! Make it stop! My head is gonna explode!
You, who drink the tears from the faces of the dead, accept from me this living flesh. Let their names be erased from the tongues of the living.
Oh, Katie. Run. Get out.
Don't be angry with me, children. Mother is so very hungry. And you are both so full of life.
Yeah, Grandma, it's a good place. I told you, I'm already settling in. Just doing some cleaning. Listen, let's talk later, okay? It's not a great time. I'll text you on WhatsApp.
I got the jars sealed earlier, while my Lily was at kindergarten.
Why do you even take her to kindergarten, Martha? The weather is so warm. Let her run around with my little Danny. Otherwise, he gets bored in the mornings.
Oh, that would be wonderful. How long are you going to be cutting, Evelyn?
Well, maybe 40 minutes or an hour. The little ones have soft skin. You don't have to suffer much. I just take a little fork, a long knife, and the little hammer, of course.
What little hammer? Did you take your late husband's tools? Bless his soul.
No, spit on wood, no. My black one, the one I use to tenderize meat. I just place the little fork right on the joints, you see? Where the veins are. I pierce it, wiggle it, and then slip the knife between the teeth of the fork so it doesn't slip.
Ah, I understand. And then you just tap the blade with the hammer. It pops right off. You just have to slice the skin.
And yourself? Do you cut yourself with a different knife?
Well, of course. I'm not an animal.
What are they cutting?
Hello, girls. I just sent that woman packing. No point wasting time on her. She came crying to me because she doesn't have kids.
What did you tell her, Shirley?
The truth. I told her, once your little freak dies, you'll come crawling back to pay your dues. I need to go buy sugar before the market closes. I got a fat one today. Hands are completely bruised. I could barely cut through the bone.
She's going crazy, Evelyn. Yelling for the whole street to hear. Speaking of which, that little weakling who just moved in was asking about her.
Do you think he's listening to us?
Nah, young people are deaf. Always got wires shoved in their ears.
I just don't have the strength anymore, Martha. I've outlived my usefulness. I just want the provider to call for me. I sacrificed my husband and my son on the exact same day. I proved my devotion.
You did, Evelyn, you did. We all have to sacrifice. Look at me. I love my little Lily so much. When I look at her sweet face, I want to laugh with joy. But when I hear the provider calling, my hand reaches for the meat hammer. It has to be done.
I'll help you. Let's deal with Shirley tomorrow. She's a liability. Then we finish the kids. And maybe we take the new boy too. He looks fresh.
They're crazy. They're a cult of psychotic murderers. I need to get out of here.
I need to leave right now. Just keep your head down. Don't look at their windows. Just walk away. Someone is inside my apartment. She's in my apartment.
There you are.
Help! Somebody help me! Get away from me!
Hush now. Stop screaming. Why do you always run away like this, my dear?
What did you do to them, Shirley? Did you kill all 4 of the old hags?
Only the old ones. They had outlived their use.
And the little ones?
They are waiting upstairs. They miss you. It worked out perfectly. We'll raise these children here. Let them grow up, breed, have their own kids, and start the cycle all over again.
Good. I shall not go hungry in this century. That old fool Martha and her little meat hammer. They really thought they were the ones in control.
We will raise the children well, O Provider. Do not worry. They will yield even more meat than the last generation.
Bring the children to me, Shirley. Let them gaze upon my true face. Do not dally, and when you are done, drag the corpses of the old women in here. I am starving. I took the isolation job to pay off debts. The radio died at 9. At 10, through the storm, I heard the crunch of snow. Someone struck the 4-foot-thick concrete wall 3 times from the outside.
Hey! Who's out there? The door is unlocked! Push!
The massive steel handle violently jerked down. Someone was trying to break the lock. It was 35 below zero outside. The thing was freezing me out. I lunged into the hallway, and a pale, rancid-smelling nothingness with impossibly long arms pinned me down, its jaw unhinged, revealing rows of translucent fangs.
Choke on this, you...
I shoved the flare gun into its throat and fired. The creature ignited from the inside and collapsed dead in the snow.
Oh, Michael, it's Andrew, the last keeper. Rescue teams found their nest in the old uranium mine. Radiation mutated the trapped miners. If you killed one, run. There are 3 more coming. Get out of there.
I'm not dying in this metal box. The village is 3 miles away. Grab your knives. We walk while our knees still bend.
You insane? Visibility is 2 feet. 1 step away from the hood is certain death. Sam, someone is singing out there. Oh my God.
Welcome, the earth, for dust you are. Death walks behind your white tracks.
A figure grew out of the whiteout. An emaciated albino with no nose or lips. Instead of eyes, 2 perfectly circular, bottomless black craters. It unleashed an ear-shattering shriek. We scattered blindly.
Your buddy Kevin just froze to death. No monsters, Samuel.
Kevin was frozen solid. His clothes were folded neatly next to him. His eyeballs had been surgically extracted, and his mouth was torn to his ears in a silent scream. And from the deep woods, I heard that vibrating bass once more. It's waiting for the next storm.
When the debt collectors backed me into a corner, I
was ready for anything to get that 5-figure contract. A logging camp on the edge of Alaska.
The pay is insane, David. But the last operator walked into the blizzard in his underwear 2 days before his shift ended. The risk isn't for everyone.
Management blames grizzly bears, but deep in the woods we find damavinas, old stilt coffins of religious fanatics. They ordered us to smash them. That's when it woke up. Tall, white, with coal black eye sockets.
We secure the truck and head back! Move!
The wind suddenly died. Right at the edge of my flashlight beam, it appeared. A tall, grotesquely bent white figure, frozen in mid-stride.
Ryan, get back! It's gonna eat you! Hey, you cowards! Get over here! Look at your demon!
Instead of breaking bones, it was a dull plastic thud. It was a heavy mannequin covered in white industrial clay. The mysticism evaporated. The veteran workers created the illusion to keep terrified rookies away from the far warehouses where illegal timber smuggling was booming. The most terrifying monsters in the polar night walk on 2 legs. Being a night guard at the old mall felt like easy money. Until the phone rang.
Brandon, do not hang up. This mall was built over a tenement where families burned alive. Larvae live in the basement. Lock the office at midnight. They use old mannequins to move. Do not look at them.
I went down to investigate a child's laugh in the vents. Just 3 filthy dolls. I turned my back for 1 second. Oh God, you were just standing by the wall. The little girl mannequin was now standing right in front of me, pointing at my face. Fresh human blood glistened on her dress. With every flash of light, they got closer. The bride mannequin appeared 4 inches from my face. The scorched plastic bubbled and her painted lips parted to reveal rows of living, bloody human teeth. Help! Let me out! I smashed her head with my flashlight, broke through the door, and barricaded myself until dawn. At sunrise, my boss handed me the doll's blue bow, found right outside my office door. They had waited for me all night. I heard this story from a random fellow traveler on a night train heading to Boston. His name was Arthur. Looking at his battered coat and tired eyes, it was hard to guess that he had once been a respected professor of philology, having given half his life to the university. But that night, to the rhythmic beat of the wheels, he looked like a man who had lost absolutely everything and was now running without looking back from something hiding in the dark.
I won't bore you with the details of my downfall. It's very sad and unlikely to interest anyone. I'll just say that I was kicked out of the department under a false pretext. I didn't become a night watchman right away. At first, I tried to make ends meet as a tutor, but my nerves weren't the same. My age simply wouldn't let me tolerate the antics of spoiled teenagers. I intentionally looked for a shift job, in the middle of nowhere, far away from cities and for a long term. I didn't worry about money. I had saved up a decent amount. It was all about my soul. Day after day, it was torn to pieces, burned inside by a terrible, impenetrable anguish. I fell into a wild apathy. Didn't leave the house for weeks, and because of the guilt, I grew even lazier.
A neighbor saved me, she said. An acquaintance of hers was looking for a night watchman at an old property, the Blackwood Farm in northern Maine. She hooked me up with a local
big shot. A shady guy in a leather jacket, looking like a typical mobster from crime movies. He owned a private security agency and he needed an unpretentious man. By the beginning of October, I was brought to the location. My area of responsibility consisted of broken gates and a checkpoint booth that looked like a rusty train car without wheels. The schedule was 24 hours on, 48 hours off. It was simple. At 4 p.m, a tractor would arrive, I'd open the gates, let him through, and by evening the harvester would return. I'd repeat the process. The previous watchman, Sam, whose place I took, had just vanished into thin air, according to the management. Idiot that I was, it didn't bother me at all. I figured the guy just went on a heavy drinking bender. Happens to the best of us. The farm itself hadn't operated for about 30 years, and the environment around was, to put it mildly, depressing. On one side was a dense forest. On the other 3, empty, dead fields. At first, I didn't stick my nose out of the booth at all. It had all the amenities, including a TV with a couple of channels. But then boredom dragged me outside by force. I began to violate protocol, walking about 200 meters away from the farm, wandering through the dry stubble under a gray autumn sky. I unsling the scratched 12-gauge shotgun the boss gave me, imagining myself as a hunter or a soldier. In short, I was acting like a kid, just to drown out my thoughts. I didn't venture into the farm territory itself at first. It repulsed me. A strange, sticky silence hung among the half-ruined barns. But most of all, I was fascinated by the elevator. And so, walking near it one evening, I heard this strange, muffled dog bark. Goosebumps instantly covered my skin, and my fingers gripped the shotgun. I moved toward the sound, trying not to rustle the leaves, and right behind the elevator, I found an old wooden barn with a heavy iron door. I yanked the handle. It was locked tight. Shining my flashlight, I gasped. All the hinges and joints were covered in crude weld seams. I gently tapped the buttstock against the iron and recoiled in surprise. A hollow, drawn-out groan came from the barn, which was immediately replaced by rapid, heavy wheezing. It was as if an emaciated, dying dog possessing human intelligence was pitifully begging me for help. I walked all around the building looking for a gap between the boards, wanting to peek inside, but the old wood had dried up and closed tightly like a shell. My heart was breaking with pity. I returned to the checkpoint, dialed the boss, and in one breath poured out everything. That a dog was locked in the barn, howling, suffocating, and we needed to do something. At first, there was some disgruntled grunting in the receiver, and then the boss's chilling, strict voice rang out. "What were you ordered to do, Professor? Sit tight on your ass at the checkpoint and don't wander around the property. Don't interfere with the wolves hunting." A lump caught in my throat. I sat in dead silence the whole evening, and by nightfall, I felt truly terrified. My sleep that night was like a drunken delirium. Scraps of thoughts intertwined with nightmares, projecting frightening human silhouettes onto the green walls of the booth. And suddenly, a sharp, deafening crunch of shattering glass hit my ears. I jumped up from the bed, almost losing consciousness from the fright. Shards of the broken window gloomed on the floor in the blinding light of the desk lamp. Shaking in a fever, I grabbed the gun, put on my shoes, and rushed outside. The single spotlight on the roof barely dispelled the darkness. Its light wasn't enough to see anything by the barn. I took a step back to return for a powerful flashlight, and then my eyes fell on the ground right beneath the broken window. Imprinted clearly in the mud were the tracks of huge dog paws. But the depth of the prints suggested that this creature weighed around 600 pounds. Panic hit my head. I dialed the boss again, breaking into a scream, yelling that some messed up thing was happening on the farm.
He fell silent and then replied, surprisingly calmly, "Stay in the booth. Don't go anywhere. I'm sending my man to you. He'll handle it." But that didn't suit me. My fear turned into a mad resolve. I found an iron hook on the fireboard, threw on my coat, took the shotgun and flashlight, and walked back to the barn the long way around, through the dump.
With the iron hook, I pried open one board of the barn, then another, kicked it, and having made a hole, directed the flashlight beam inside. First, I saw a huge, gaping hole in the building's ceiling, and when I lowered my gaze, a zinc coffin appeared in the pale light. My insides felt like they were ground into dust, my heart beating at its limit. I forced my leaden legs to take a couple of steps inside. The creaking floor was littered with rotting straw, and in the corner, right under the hole in the roof, pale human bones covered in cracks lay in a neat pile. The coffin itself in the center was empty, and its lid, a warped zinc sheet, lay nearby. I accidentally nudged it with my bare foot. The sheet jerked and made that exact hollow, drawn-out sound. And then a cold sweat broke over me. I doubted my own sanity. The creature wasn't barking. It was the scraping of the zinc lid, which it was moving from the inside. And the breathing. When I approached the first time, I had heard live, rapid breathing. Flimsy boards had separated me from an unknown monster, and now it had smashed through the ceiling, got out, and was looking for me. The rumble of an approaching car broke the silence. An SUV pulled up to the booth, and the boss's enforcer, a big guy, jumped out. He shouted, "Hey, Professor, where are you? Get in the car, now!" I wanted to yell to him, to warn him, but a giant shadow rose from the darkness behind his back. The guy only managed to gasp, "Get away from me, what?" Followed by a horrifying, gurgling crunch. I peeked around the corner of the elevator, and that frame was burned into my memory forever. In the spotlight beam stood a creature. Huge, muscular human arms, disappearing under a dark green military jacket, were tossing a headless body aside. The lower part of the creature consisted of thick, knotted legs resembling a dog's, and the face... It was the elongated snout of a mutant wolf, covered in pale yellow human skin with huge eyes like pus-filled blisters. The creature picked up the enforcer's bloody head, opened its maw, and greedily bit into it. That sickening crunch of bursting flesh brought me to my senses. Firing the shotgun was madness. 2 rounds against a monster like that? I turned and ran toward the abandoned administration building, hoping to lose it in its labyrinth. I crawled inside through a broken window, squeezed into the darkest corner of the corridor, and held my gun at the ready. The beast didn't keep me waiting. It dashed past the window several times like a black shadow. I carefully peeked out. The monster was holding the man's body in its arms, eating it piece by piece, emitting a sound that chilled me to the bone. A mixture of an animal growl and a joyful human laugh. And suddenly, that silence was shattered by the squeaky ringtone of my cell phone in my pocket. In a split second, I slammed it onto the floor. The creature howled, and the rapid thuds of its paws hit the ground. I rushed for the exit, and behind me, the window frame flew out with a crash. The monster was forcing its way into the building. Fear paralyzed my body. My legs barely moved, but I knew stopping meant death. I miraculously tumbled out through the back door, ran to the garbage pit, and literally buried myself under the smelly bags up to my shoulders, praying that this stench would drown out my scent. At dawn, the creature staggered as if the sun was draining its power. Dragging its paws, it trudged to the barn, climbed inside, and covered itself with the zinc sheet. I realized I wouldn't survive the next night. It would find me. Taking off my shoes so as not to make noise, I sneaked into the barn across the rustling straw. Coming right up to the coffin, I aimed the barrel straight at the crown of the creature's head. Deep breath. I pulled the trigger. Hollow click. misfire. The beast instantly threw off the zinc and stared at me, its wolfish face stretching into a hideous human smile. In madness, I squeezed the second trigger. Another misfire. With all my strength, I smashed it across the face with the buttstock, grabbed my lighter, set the straw on fire, and bolted out. The barn lit up like a match, and I ran through the fields without looking back until I reached the bus stop. I thought I had burned it, but the next night, already in my city apartment, I heard a terrible scraping in the yard. I looked out the window and saw it. A charred, blistered, resentful creature. The fire didn't kill it. It found me by smell in my own city. That night, it couldn't breach the building's entrance door, and by afternoon I bought a ticket for this train to Boston. It will find me everywhere. It has an ideal scent, unless I find peace across the ocean.
When Arthur finished, a heavy silence hung in the compartment. I looked at him and said quietly, "So you were running with an empty gun the whole time? Most likely your shady boss just handed you an unloaded weapon. Just for show." Arthur didn't reply. At the next station, he got off, seeing me off with a frightened, dead gaze. The way terminally ill patients look at a doctor. I never saw him again. But now, whenever I close the curtains in my bedroom, I listen to the night sounds every single time, terrified of hearing the hollow scrape of a zinc lid from the yard.